So at the beginning of the season, I purchased this brand new Grand Design fifth wheel that you see behind me here, which led me to a ton of research as to which fifth wheel hitch I actually wanted to pick up and purchase for my vehicle. I'm currently towing with a 2007. It's a Dodge Ram 2500 with the 5.9 liter Cummins in it. It's a short bed truck, so I knew the question was going to come up as to whether I was going to go with a fixed base or the sliding fifth wheel hitch. And in the end, after talking with B&W and expressing my interest to work with them, they were gracious enough to agree to let me work with them for this year to try this sliding fifth wheel hitch out and then see if I could try to portray to you guys the pros and cons to this hitch, and then you guys can make a decision as to whether this might be the right fit for you and your towing setup or not. So now that I've kind of got what I'm towing with and the camper that I went ahead and picked up, let's go ahead and dive into when I first got this thing at home and the installation and setup. Now this thing's going to arrive on a pallet. It does come freight, guys. So the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure you've got somewhere handy that you can have this thing delivered to, where the truck's actually going to be able to get it to you, and then you can get this thing out of the box and get it ready to go. Now the nice thing about these B&W hitches is they do come pretty much almost fully assembled. There's very few things you got to do. So the base itself actually does come fully assembled. You just have to put the risers on, and then you've got the handle that goes for the jaws and a couple springs and things on the backside, and that's really all there is to it on the install. I had this hitch set up in the truck and ready to go in basically an hour. Now it is important to kind of follow the instructions and make sure that you are doing through all the steps and processes, especially if this is your first time, because the last thing you want to do is get this thing put in incorrectly or not have all the bolts properly tightened to spec, then get hooked up to your fifth wheel camper the first time and take off down the road and have a problem that you created. But once you've gone through the manual, you've made sure everything's tightened down appropriately, it's time to get the camper hooked up for the first time. Now this is my first camper that I've ever purchased, so there was a lot of learning that I had to do this year. Now that I've got my first season under my belt, we're pretty much getting everything stored up and ready to go for winter. I feel like I've got a pretty good handle as to how this hitch operated for me, and it's pretty good insights based on situations I got myself into during the camping season. Now, as I've already mentioned, these sliding hitches are really only going to be for the guys that are running short bed trucks. If you've got a long bed truck, turning radius isn't going to be an issue for you in most cases, so there's really no reason to get or purchase one of these little sliding fifth wheel hitches like I ultimately decided to go with. Now also keep in mind that these hitches are rated at 20,000 pounds, so essentially if you've got a camper that's going to be any bigger than that, you're going to want to see if there's a different option out there for you on the market that you can go with. You're probably going to overload this hitch than the way it was designed to be used. So now that we've got that out of the way, the first thing I needed to do was obviously make my trip up north to go get my camper picked up. And I was always told or read online that the bucking and chucking that these fifth wheels create going down the highway can be pretty awful sometimes. I was actually pretty pleasantly surprised on my first trip home with my camper. While I did feel a few of those bucking and chuckings that people talked about online, honestly, I didn't think it was that bad, especially for the age of my truck and the fact that my truck's not really rated for those big heavy weights that a lot of these newer trucks are capable of towing. Now, before I took any of my trips at all, I wanted to go ahead and get this thing out to like a big parking lot. I wanted to mess around with the turning radius and kind of learn how this hitch operated. So that's exactly what I did. Is I went down the road to one of the schools that's local to me. There's a big parking lot that was wide open on a weekend, and I just started backing this thing up and getting an idea as to what the turning radius was. Now you get an extra 12 inches of clearance when you run this thing in the backward position, so when you slide this thing to the back, which doesn't sound like a lot, but honestly, when you get to backing this thing up and making those sharp turning radiuses with the truck, I was actually pretty surprised on how much further I could get with that extra 12 inches of clearance. There's something else that you're also going to want to probably keep in mind. Depending on which style camper and how old your camper is, the older campers didn't really pay a lot of attention on the nose design, on the indentations where this might contact the cab. So if you've got more of a straight nose on your camper, then the sliding hitch may actually be an even bigger advantage for you than it is for me. However, a lot of the campers nowadays, they've actually paid a little bit more attention to detail in these situations and given you a lot more clearance on the front nose cap of your fifth wheel. So when you're making those tighter turns, you can get away with making sharper turns and not having to use this sliding fifth wheel hitch. So I thought now might be a good time to go ahead and hook the truck up to the trailer itself. You guys could take a look at what this looks like. You can see the clearance that I've got over the bed rails. And then maybe this might give you a little bit more insight as to how this truck and trailer setup might look when it comes to your truck and trailer. And then maybe we can make a decision as to whether this might be worth the price and investment for you. So now that I got the fifth wheel hooked up, I thought I'd take a second to kind of show you just what I was talking about when it comes to like your nose cap, as well as the clearance from your rails to the actual camper itself. And then something else that a lot of people probably don't think about is how much distance they've got between the tailgate and the back of the camper when the tailgate's down, as well as on this slider. Something that you also have to take into account that I didn't know when I first got into this was when you have this slid back into the backward position, it moves your pin box mount right here back to the tailgate, and mine gets extremely close to the tailgate. Now, I've still got room to be able to maneuver mine around, but honestly, it does make me a little bit nervous when I've got it in that backward position. So that's just something worth taking note of. So I'm gonna move you guys around to the back of the truck. I wanna show you when I have the tailgate down back here, just how much distance I've got. I've got a lot more than I've seen some people have. In fact, I've got about 8 inches back here to play with between my camper and my tailgate. So you can see I pretty much need to get into this thing straight on. I've got a little bit of wiggle room, but I've actually seen a couple people out and about on different campsites when they've hooked up, they've only got roughly 4 inches of space back here, which makes their tolerances even tighter. Now, something else to take into account too, and this is going to be across fixed and sliding fifth wheels for that matter, but how much space you've got between your camper and your rail. I've got 8 inches on mine. I've got the risers on my mount at the lowest position. And I've also got them rotated in the way that pushes them about 1 inch backward. So you do have a little bit of wiggle room when you first set this thing up. Now, in all honesty, my camper does sit a little bit nose high. So if I need any more adjustment, I'm gonna have to basically adjust my pin box and move it up a little bit, which is something that's on my to-do list here, hopefully before next season. Well, if we move back around to the front here, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about with this indentation right here. Now, some campers, it's even more pronounced. Some campers, they have a straight nose, especially a lot of the older ones that you've seen out there. But when I rotate and turn mine around, I've got a good deal of rotation that I'm able to do before I get into my cab. And that's with it in the forward position. If I move this back to the backward position, I gain that extra foot, and that's what actually allows me to get this truck almost basically 90 degrees to the trailer, which makes it extremely handy getting in some of those sites. And I can tell you when I went to Brown County State Park here in Indiana for my last trip, that slider absolutely came in handy getting into my spot. It's hard enough to even get a spot that you want there to begin with because it's so busy. So I kind of just picked what I knew I was going to be able to fit in, but I knew it was going to be a little bit of a chore getting this camper in there. And it absolutely was. And that slider kind of saved my bacon at that site. So just for sake of measurements here, I wanted to show you just how far I am from the cab currently. So we're going to go from like where the nose is here, which is the furthest forward point, to my third brake light. We're basically sitting at 29 inches right now. So that kind of gives you an idea of what you've got here to work with. I guess we could also take a measurement here just to see what we are here. And that's roughly 46 inches. So we got 29 inches and 46. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the truck forward and slide this slider back, and you guys can see the difference in the space back here and how much of a difference it makes back at the tailgate when it's down as well. So now we're slid back here. We got that extra 12 inches of clearance back here. You can see how big of a difference that extra foot makes. So off the front of the nose here, we're sitting at 41 inches, and I think I said 29 originally. So there's your roughly extra foot right there. And then from the corner of the cab here, we're sitting at now 56 inches. So it makes a big difference. While you don't think that extra 12 inches is really that much, it actually is a huge difference back here in the bed of the truck. Now coming back here to the tailgate again, now I mentioned we only had roughly 8 inches back here before. Now you can see I've got 22 inches. So I went from being able to not even fit between here to now I can actually walk between here and the tailgate just fine and have all that extra space. And then if I need to be able to come in at a 45-degree angle for whatever reason where I'm parking this camper to camp at, I actually have that option now as well with the slider. That's something you don't get with the fixed, obviously. So really, honestly, this kind of depends on how you're gonna end up camping. If you're gonna be in and out of a lot of tight state parks, or if you're planning on just camping at like a lot of the fancier resorts or the wide open areas. Some of the cons that come with this fifth wheel hitch are gonna be the price, the extra added weight, and then how often you're gonna be taking this thing in and out of your truck. If this fifth wheel is gonna be living in the bed of your truck pretty much full time, that 290 pounds of fifth wheel that's sitting in the bed of this truck is probably not gonna be a big deal for you. But if you're having to constantly take this thing in and out, which is kind of how I am, being that I run a farm here at the same time, I'm constantly hooking up to a livestock trailer, a bumper pull trailer, then hooking up to the camper to go camping. It just depends on the weekend. So having to take this thing in and out of the truck, if I didn't have access to that tractor, this would be quite the chore that I probably would get sick of really quick. If you do have access to equipment, or if you've got a way that you can rig up a hoist in your garage, something like that, and just basically lift this thing up, pull out from underneath it, then you're pretty well good to go. But looking at this one and the fixed mount hitch that they have to offer when it comes to this single point anyways, using the turnover ball that's already in the bed of the truck, that extra 80 pounds of weight, while it's not a huge difference, it does add up and takes it from being a two-person lift to maybe two stronger people being able to actually have to get this thing in and out of the truck for you. And then also, like I mentioned, losing the ability to be able to put a toolbox in here was kind of a big deal to me. I wish I would have thought to look at that before I decided to go this option. However, it's not the end of the world. I have already come up with solutions on how I can carry these tools with me. But my toolbox essentially went over the top of the rails, meaning that I pretty much had to take the toolbox in and out of the truck every single time when I was going camping. And I tried to actually leave it in, but because of the height of the actual slide box that sits on top of the rails, I wasn't able to do that. So that's something you're definitely going to take into account if you're going to go with this option here, unless you go with a narrower toolbox or find a way to keep your tools in totes, something like that. But with that being said, weighing the pros and the cons and everything I just laid out for you, if I was to go about this again, I'd absolutely still buy the slider hitch on this truck versus buying the fixed mount, just simply because I've already found a couple times where I was able to get myself in situations where that slider did help out. And it's one of those things, in my opinion anyways, where it's better to have it and not need it than it is to need it and not have it. So tell me what you think in the comments as to whether this slider's something that you think would be an advantage to you in your towing setup or not, or if you've already got one of these, or if you've got a fixed mount. Let me know why you went that one way or the other. I'd like to know and have that knowledge as well. And then we can open up a conversation so that everyone can kind of make a decision based on everybody's feedback, which hitch is better for them and their situation or not. Other than that, that's all I've got for you in this video. I hope this was somewhat helpful for you guys. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch. We'll catch you guys on the next video.